The evolution of video games over the past 20 years has been just absolutely insane. We've gone from like 2D side scrollers and stuff like that to full immersive 3D open worlds. And up until this point, it's all just been smoke and mirrors. Like in Cyberpunk, when you're walking around, none of these NPCs really care about what you're doing or anything. They're just there. Everything's set dressing. Smoke and mirrors to sell you one thing: immersion. But as we move into the future, we're starting to see new types of technology. Technology that really overhauls the way we know AI. NPCs, for example, being the most effective, but not just those. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so let me just set you up with this. Imagine that you're stepping into a game where every single character remembers you, learns from you, and even adapts to you. A world where the NPCs can actually think, plan, and most importantly, evolve, depending on your actions. Now, I know this sounds like some crazy Ready Player One science fiction stuff, but I mean, this is the direction we're heading, guys. It's happening right now in studios across the world. I mean, they're already working on this technology. You see, the gaming industry is standing at a crossroads. Artificial intelligence is transforming how games are made and played, opening doors to unprecedented immersion and creativity. But as we race toward this future, troubling questions emerge about job loss, creative control, data privacy, and what happens when the line between player and product disappears. And the data privacy thing is pretty sketchy, but this is the future of AI in gaming. It's going to be thrilling. You're going to see some of the coolest stuff you've ever seen before. It's revolutionary, but it's a little scary. And so AI is kind of taken on a new meaning over the years. I mean, it's not new. Back in 1998, Half-Life revolutionized the genre with enemy soldiers who used real military tactics. Well, you know, I mean, they tried to flank you and stuff like that, suppressing fire and coordinating as squads using, you know, the limited knowledge or the limited programmed knowledge that they could have. And I say knowledge very loosely here because it's not knowledge, it's if the player does this, you do that. They're not thinking. But this blew people away back in 1998, and it kind of set a standard that has only been developed on since it came out. And as time's gone on, AI in video games has gotten much, much better. Some games, even to this day, it's still pretty bad, but overall, it's gotten a lot better. But with the place we're at now, things are starting to happen a little different. We're kind of witnessing like a fundamental shift from scripted behaviors to like genuinely adaptive learning systems powered by large language models and generative AI. As of 2025, over 50% of game developers report their workplaces are using generative AI tools, with some surveys showing adoption rates as high as 90%. The technology has moved really from experimental to essential in just a few years. And guys, I'm sure you've seen this. I mean, imagine like 3 years ago. I mean, you might have heard of like Midjourney and stuff like that. And then you started hearing Chat GPT, which I was calling Google GPT for a while because I didn't know what the hell it was. And as time's gone on, people have grown more and more dependent with this stuff. I mean, people are using Chat GPT for like marriage counseling and crazy stuff like that now. And even virtual companions. I mean, it's completely taken over the world. And as this stuff continues to develop, it will continue to exponentially develop. So what used to take 100 years is now only going to take 10, and even shorter and shorter and shorter. This now kind of puts us all in a weird spot where things are accelerating and advancing so rapidly that maybe we can't all get on the same page. It's chaotic. Think of the stuff with like Sora 2. There's this video I saw running around of a big guy and he gets sucked up by a tornado, and a lot of people believed it. I've seen a bunch of political misinformation too, using AI tools. And people fall for it hook, line, and sinker, especially the older crowd. And you know, you could be all smug and be like, well, media literacy is dead, and you know, that's a whole nother thing. But we're talking about AI specifically in games. Already, just outside of games, we're living in a world where it's getting a little creepy. So companies like In-World AI and NVIDIA are leading this charge. In-World has developed a character engine that allows developers to create NPCs with personalities, emotions, long-term memory, and autonomous goals, all without scripting thousands of dialogue lines. NVIDIA's ACE, which stands for Avatar Cloud Engine, is a suite that provides the technical backbone for these quote-unquote digital humans, offering speech recognition, text-to-speech, facial animation, and intelligent responses optimized to run on gaming hardware. So this kind of stuff would be used for like NPCs in the world, you know, non-important, non-scripted, that kind of stuff. That way you feel like you're really living in a world that's going on around you while you still have quests and stuff like that that are scripted and hopefully have real voice actors and stuff like that. But games seem to already be shipping with this technology. Mecha Break by Amazing Seasun Games features NPCs powered by NVIDIA's on-device small language models. Krafton's PUBG is integrating AI-driven teammates that communicate naturally and act autonomously. Dead Meat, a murder mystery game, lets players interrogate suspects using their own words, with AI generating contextually appropriate responses. Now I have a video where I play SWAT 4 and I'm yelling commands at my teammates and stuff like that. Blue team, check the door.
Door isn't locked.
This is totally different than that. In SWAT 4, when I'm yelling those commands, the computer is interpreting what I'm saying as speech to text, essentially. Once that text is registered in the game, there's keywords that the game looks for to do what it is I'm trying to tell them to do. So if I tell them to like open a door or something like that, and it's in there to where open door is something that they will respond to, they'll do it. But if I was to say something like, hey, go wrap your hand around the knob and pull the door back, they would be confused and have no idea what I was talking about. It's just commands issued with keyword recognition from speech to text. This stuff we're talking about now is you actually just talk and the thing figures out what it is you're trying to say. It figures out the context. That's something that we've never had before. AI is able to figure out context and think, well, quote unquote, think for itself. Anyways, according to a 2023 survey conducted by N-World AI, 99% of gamers, well, at least in the study, said AI NPCs would enhance gameplay. 79% believed that they would spend more time playing, and 81% would spend more money on games featuring them. So, look, the future's here. We got Grand Theft Auto 6 right around the corner. We're going to have big, immersive, incredible open world games. In the gaming industry, I mean, it's only going to get better to where you can really live in these worlds. So the future is here. The question is, what's it going to cost you? And I'm not talking about your money. Well, we'll get to that, but let's talk about a few things. Modern AI NPCs are fundamentally different from their predecessors. Using large language models and specialized gaming engines, they can hold genuine conversations, remember past interactions, adapt their personalities based on players' behavior, and pursue their own goals. So that's kind of the new big thing with NPCs, just to kind of recap. In 2023, modders brought ChatGPT to Skyrim. I'm sure you guys have seen this, creating NPCs with memory systems that let them recall previous conversations and react with unprecedented realism. Well, to an extent. While these early experiments, they kind of suffered from like performance issues and occasional nonsensical responses, obviously, well, they demonstrated the potential for a truly dynamic character interaction in a game. It's insane. And that's the stuff we saw just a few years ago. Think about what's coming. Northeastern University researchers noted in October of 2024, AI-driven NPCs raised, to quote, important discussions around data privacy, biased algorithms, and enticing game loops made more addicting with the assistance of AI. End quote there. So when NPCs can analyze player behavior patterns, learn psychological vulnerabilities, and adapt to maximize engagement, the line between entertainment and manipulation starts to kind of blur a bit. In AI-driven development, let's talk about Ubisoft's Ghostwriter tool. I had never heard of this until I went down the rabbit hole looking at all this stuff. Maybe you've heard of it. And apparently, it generates NPC dialogue at scale, freeing writers to focus on major story beats rather than thousands of lines of incidental chatter, kind of like the other tech we were talking about earlier. Promethean AI allows developers to create entire environments using voice commands. Can you imagine that? So, say, build a bedroom and watch a fully realized 3D space materialize in seconds, complete with appropriate lighting, shadows, and object placement. Unity and Unreal Engine have integrated AI tools for landscape generation, animation assistance, and code optimization. These technologies democratize game development, allowing smaller teams to create experiences previously requiring massive studios. The human cost is real, and it's mounting. A July 2024 Wired investigation revealed that major studios like Activision Blizzard, they're using generative AI for concept art and game development while simultaneously laying off thousands of workers. Thousands. Approximately 10,500 people lost gaming jobs in 2023, with 14,600 more cut in 2024. That's a lot of people losing their freaking jobs. And losing your job's not good because, that kind of leads to being homeless if you can't get another job. So anyways, Microsoft closed entire studios, including Arcane, which was stupid, Arcane Austin, and Tango Gameworks. So according to a 2025 September game developer survey, devs are more worried than ever that generative AI will lower the quality of games. And now you might think that the concern would mainly be about job security, and maybe it is. I mean, there is a lot of concern around their job security moving forward, but they care about their art too. It's about what's getting lost when human creativity is replaced by algorithmic efficiencies. And we know how these corporations work. I mean, they'll throw creativity to the wind. All they care about is money. If they could strap you to a chair and have things hooked up to your eyes and ears and all that and just suck money out of you, that's what they would do all day because that's what they want from you. They want your money. These publishers, not all publishers, but I digress. The people behind the scenes, people who are actually making the games, the developers, this is who it's hitting the hardest right now. So one laid off developer wrote on Reddit, getting a job in the gaming industry is already really hard, but leaving a company and a nice team because freaking AI took my job feels very dystopian. It is dystopian. All right. But you want to get even more dystopian? Let's talk about voice actors. So the threat to voice actors, it's here. I mean, think of stuff like 11 Labs and stuff like that. You probably have already played around with some sort of voice model if you're watching this. So forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. I think this is a giant acronym, but SAG-AFTRA, so SAG-AFTRA, initiated a video game strike in July 2024 that lasted nearly a year, finally reaching a tentative agreement in June of 2025. So what's the core issue here? Well, AI voice synthesis has advanced to the point where studios can record a few hours with an actor, then generate really unlimited performances using AI. Without protections, actors could be paid once and replaced forever. Kind of like Michael Hollick when he voiced Nico in Grand Theft Auto 4. Which, if we do see Nico in Grand Theft Auto 6, who knows? It could be a trained thing. I'm just saying. I don't know. But this final agreement includes provisions requiring explicit consent before voice actors' performances can be used to train AI models, and compensation when AI-generated content uses their likeness. And that's an achievement. But the technology is continuing to advance faster than legal protections. And you'll see that is kind of a trend with AI. It's constantly getting ahead of, the rules and regulations and stuff like that. Even the internet as a whole hasn't been able to move as fast as AI has. And if you grew up with the early internet, you know what I mean. It was a wild west. Well, until really Google got really big and YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Then it started to kind of consolidate a bit. But there was a time where you could go on Google and search for videos and the video thing, and random video sites would pop up. Now it's all YouTube. Anyways, I digress. Let's talk about something that should really scare you: data privacy and player profiling. This, to me, is where things get truly concerning. I mean, it's already hard enough to protect yourself online. Don't worry, I'm not going into a NordVPN ad, but there is a link if you want it in the description. But you know this, guys. This day, it's harder than ever to protect your privacy. And I know that this does sound like an ad setup because this is how so many of those ad setups begin. But they begin that way because there is a real issue with protecting your data online. Man, even to me, I feel like I'm going into an ad read. I'm not, I promise you. So imagine modern AI-driven games that don't just respond to your actions, okay? But what if they could learn from you? They analyze you, predict your next actions, and adapt based on vast amounts of behavioral data. So, a 2024 Stanford AI Index report highlighted growing concerns about AI and data privacy across industries. In gaming specifically, AI systems can track not just what players do, but how they do it. And that how is very important. We're talking reaction times here, decision patterns, emotional responses, and social behaviors. One VR study analyzed 2.5 million recordings from over 50,000 players and achieved 94% accuracy in uniquely identifying individuals based solely on their movement patterns. This level of precision and behavioral profiling raises some real serious questions, guys, about consent, data usage, and who owns the insights extracted from your gameplay. As Northeastern University researchers wrote in their October 2024 study, data is incredibly valuable, and that kind of information might not just be used for retraining a model. Gaming companies could potentially sell players' psychological profiles to advertisers, use them to optimize addictive monetization mechanics, or share them with third parties without meaningful transparency. And I think this is really scary in like the mobile world, the mobile game stuff like Candy Crush, and there's a lot of online gambling kind of stuff you can do with phone apps and all that kind of stuff. So real scary stuff. So you can see that we're kind of in the middle of a AI moderation crisis. The darker side of generative AI became apparent in 2021 when AI Dungeon, a text-based game powered by GPT-3, faced a major controversy. You see, the game's AI began generating, content involving minors, and sometimes in response to user prompts, but disturbingly, sometimes spontaneously. So you could just be playing this thing and CP2077 pops up, minus the 2077, but you know what I'm saying. When developers implemented filters to block this content, players discovered their private stories were being read by moderators, and this sparked some massive backlash about privacy and censorship. This incident revealed a fundamental challenge. When AI can generate infinite content, traditional moderation approaches don't really work anymore. How do you control an algorithm that creates faster than humans can actually review? Let's talk about Roblox. And God, I don't know what you think about Roblox. I've never played Roblox, but the reputation of that game is like if you were a kid in a daycare or something and you get the Legos and they smell all dirty and gross. That's how I imagine Roblox. But anyways, Roblox has deployed AI content moderation at a pretty massive scale, filtering millions of user interactions. And given their history with certain things happening on that platform, that doesn't surprise me. So while it's necessary for child safety, the system has faced criticism for false positives and lack of transparency. When automated systems ban accounts with minimal human oversight, players have little recourse. And if you're a YouTube content creator, it's very similar with how YouTube works. If you need help on here, here, you're SOL. It's just how it is. Let's move on to this anti-cheat stuff. AI-powered anti-cheat systems remove another troubling frontier. Riot Games' Vanguard system for Valorant operates at the kernel level of players' computers, the deepest level of system access possible. And this is done to detect cheating through AI analysis of player behavior patterns. But I feel like they're kind of busting through a little bit of a barrier there. I mean, that's your private computer, but these are the terms you agree to if you want to play an online game. And so while this is effective at catching cheaters, kernel level access means the software can theoretically monitor everything on your computer, not just game activity. Privacy advocates and security researchers, well, they raised alarms about the security risks and invasiveness of such systems. And to just kind of summarize this, it's scary because anti-cheat software with that level of access to your computer, that's a security vulnerability. And if it's compromised, it could give attackers complete system control. So now when you hear that there's a data leak at some company, you're not there kind of on the outside being like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. They should have done this. They should have done that. Now, I mean, this could directly affect you to where they get like your social security number, all that. Identity theft is rampant. And again, that's why you see so many NordVPN ads. Again, I swear I'm not sponsored by them. I just do the affiliate link. It's in the description. If I'm scaring you into getting some sort of thing to protect yourself online, here's a quick ad read. Get it, and it's in the description. There you go. That's the ad read. But anyways, I want to ask you guys this. Is this a future that you're ready for? Is this a future that you want? Well, it's not up to you, unfortunately, guys, because it's already arrived. It's here. And every day that passes, we move further and further into this crazy AI world. And it's really cool because AI can do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I know a lot of people are very optimistic about it. I talked to some people from older generations, and they're very excited about the future of it because it's kind of like the future that they were promised when they were kids, but there's a lot of serious implications that come with artificial intelligence and where it's heading. And, when humans are in control of something like that and are building something like that, we don't move backwards, we move forwards, because if a business isn't moving forward, it dies. And that's just the nature of a capitalist society, at least. But I'm not trying to get political on you or anything. It's just the way things are. So in July of 2025, Autodesk hosted sessions at GDC on ethical AI for next-gen game development, where CEO we're going to call him Raid S, but he warned you can do things accidentally pretty easily with AI tools, and they can spread very quickly. Northeastern University researchers argued that game developers need formal AI ethics frameworks, including impact assessments, bias testing, and transparent data labeling similar to nutrition labels on food. And I think that's great and all, but again, it's really hard to get ahead of this stuff. I mean, there's this other gaming industry researcher guy, what's his name? Kansu Kanka, and he noted it's obvious that the gaming industry is moving toward a different level of risk with AI, but the ethics aspect is lagging behind. And nail on the head. That's exactly what's going on. And I think as time moves forward, we're going to continue to see that become a bigger and bigger issue, to where the gap between our ability to control it and where it's heading grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So the New York Times captured the ambivalence perfectly in July of 2025 in The Unnerving Future of AI-Fueled Video Games. We're building technology that can create infinitely adaptive experiences, but we haven't grappled with what it means when games know us better than we know ourselves. So this future of AI in gaming, it's not some distant possibility. It's not some nightmare that you can wake up from or nothing. It's here, guys. It's unfolding right now in every major studio. Indie developers, it's starting to get into their workflow. And this technology will bring revolutionary creative possibilities. Worlds that truly live and breathe, characters that feel genuinely real, development tools that democratize creation. But that same technology threatens so many jobs and has already taken jobs. It reduces artists to algorithm trainers, and it turns you, the player, into a data product. And that's nothing new. You've been a data product if you have a social media account, but it's only getting worse. I mean, sometime years ago, we went from being called citizens of the United States of America to the consumers. We're known as consumers. And maybe one day you'll just be referred to as a data product or data point or something. I mean, this stuff is really dystopian because all of this concentrates power into the hands of only a few tech giants who control the AI models everyone depends on. So you don't have to worry about AI transforming gaming. It already has, and it will continue to. You're going to get some really amazing experiences out of it. Deep stories. I mean, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to have a good time, you're going to love it. There's going to be incredible works of art that come out of this. The question is whether we'll build ethical frameworks in time, legal protections, and industry standards to ensure that transformation serves human creativity rather than replacing it. Game developers, you, the player, voice actors, and policymakers, all of us, we're all grappling with these questions right now as the technology races ahead of our ability to control it. So the next time you boot up a game, especially one of these newer ones in the future, and you marvel at just how real the NPCs feel, ask yourself, what did we trade to get here? What did you trade to get here? And more importantly, what are we willing to trade next? The future of AI in gaming, it's already here, guys. Whether it's scary or spectacular depends entirely on the choices we make today. So that's what I got for you today, guys. And I know this is kind of a scary video, but it's been on my mind for a while. And there's been a couple of comments on my videos where maybe you've seen me respond to you or something and say, hey, that's a good video idea, or that could be a video, but I'm not really going to touch on it or something like that. Well, I made the video. I touched on it. This is something that's been very deeply concerning to me, something I'm really worried about moving into the future. And I wanted to make a video about it and share it with you guys. Anyways, if you're here for the Grand Theft Auto 6 stuff, this does kind of play into that. If you're not here for my Grand Theft Auto 6 content, I make all sorts of videos. Lately, it's been Grand Theft Auto 6. Moving into the future, I'm probably going to make more stuff like this. I don't really know, but if you like the video, give it a like at the least, or maybe even consider subscribing. Other than that, guys, here are 2 videos, and I promise they are more optimistic than this video. But please, take care of yourself out there. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your day, week, night, year, whatever. Really, take care of yourself and stay safe in this crazy, crazy, dangerous world, man. I mean, this stuff is nuts. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I'm rambling. Peace.